Alright guys, hello. Let's do a quick recap. This is the daily of the S&P. This is the monthly. You can see target, and target was 607, almost 608, and it touched and do bounce a little bit pullback. This is how it looks on the weekly. Touched it, moved down, and I know that pullback need to be, and we are still in an uptrend. You can see above the 50 and 200 we are looking up. What you can see here that we have basically 1, 2. This is a small pullback, so I don't know if it's the 3. And my last prediction was that I thought this is the last end, that we should see a pullback much bigger, like something like 1, 2, something like this, or even to the 550, and then going back up, like resting, and it didn't rest. It just, or maybe this is the beginning. So what we have on the weekly, we see it crossed below the 50, 50, so it means the momentum is weakening. But any continuation of moving down, it can create a divergence for the upside, because if it's moved below this one, this is much safer. This will make a new lower low. It will be, this is the low, this is new lower low, and if this is area, this is the low, and any move down here aggressively will create a higher low, which means a divergence between the indicator and the price section. This can give us a sign that if we see it coming back up, and there are several scenarios how it should come back up, of continuation to the 670 or even 7, I think 713 for the, let's say, 6 month. So this is one scenario. And I think the sellers know that, and if the sellers you can see it on the daily, which candle they create, it was a lot of pressure of selling. So if the sellers know that, they will try to prevent it from happening, and they will try to push it up and then create a divergence for a short continuation. And so far on the weekly, we don't see that. On the weekly and on the monthly, this is a strong. So in order for the sellers to win, they will need to create it on the weekly, and it can take time. Let's examine the daily, how it looks. You will see it just a sec. You're gonna see it how it looks on the daily. Oh, now it's more clearly. See what happened. This is a big red candle. This is aggressive red candle. All right, took a lot of stop losses there. And what happened? Immediately it got bought and pushed up. All right. And what we have here, this is what I'm talking about. This is a lower low, and this is a higher low. And it pushed up. But now, this is the reason why I told you, even if it's cross up, it doesn't mean that it's definitely going to push up. Because now we know that the sellers are in here, this area. And the buyers know that, and the sellers know that. So the buyers need to not push too strong, because if they push too strong, it could create divergence if they fail to break this area. And the sellers know that. So what needs to be happen? I think the sellers trying to recommit here again and try to push, and you see the fight. This is the tail of the last session. And if it managed to break the 580 again, the sellers, and then it can create a downtrend in the short time. So this is interesting. This is the area of fight. This is why I call the 607 my end target. It doesn't mean that I exit all my position, but it's symbol for me that it's going to be a fight here, so I should wait, see who winning. So far, the buyers are in the win. It's a lot of divergence, momentum still positive. You can see the face is facing up. We don't have any sign. So people ask me what are the signs for a bigger pullback, like let's say 30%, 50%. In order to do so, I'm going back for the weekly and see where is the last line in the sand. It could be this one, it could be this one, because if the price move here, it will create a new a lower low. So it means that the price could push up again and then break, let's say, even just because it's a round number for the 500. And if this is the end, this is Fibonacci, guys. If this is the end of the Fibonacci line, so you can see it's still the 2360. It's a good pullback. It's a positive pullback. Even the 400 in this time zone I took. This is a much bigger time zone. But if we want to take a smaller time frame, let's draw it together. Let's say from here, all right? This is the up. You can see the 546. This is a nice pullback. 508, even 477. This is a good pullback from October. And our strong pullback, which means resting and then can continue higher. Can it push up from this area? I think so, but I think it's need a pullback. You can see it here. Let's make it much smaller. This is from the 20 from the corner. You can see this is one. This is resting. You can call it maybe 2 here. Resting. This is much smaller and then a bigger correction. So if we can see it, this is I don't know, you can call it, this is 1 maybe, this is the 3, this is the small one, and you consider this is the third one, like this one. You can see how it's resting. All right, now it made the pullback from here. It took it out, it didn't close, the bars came immediately. This is close. And this is what we want to see. You want to see a close below the last low. So if this is the last low, want to see it close it. If you can call this candle the last low, you wanted to see it close it and didn't. But if we're going to see what happened, it pushed down, retest, and then downtrend. And this is it. So far, it's in an uptrend. Momentum is weakening. And it's okay. And on the daily, it touches a key area which bring the buyers, which is good. Even though it's close below the 50 and the 50 start to be straight, we're probably gonna see a little bit fight. There is a divergence for the upside. If you want to be sure, wait that the indicator push and close above the 50. So it's a positive momentum. Let's move for the 4-hour chart. You can see how it looks there. See, this is it. It push and close below. This is a sign to reach much lower. But what it did, it's finished here. Open with a gap down and immediately push up. So it closed above. So you see the buyers want to push it and don't want to let it close below this area. Because if it did, it would have pushed the market for the 575 and even lower. So the buyers immediately pushed it up. and the sellers failed here. The buyers immediately pushed it up, and now what we have? It was a big change in the momentum on the trend, and immediately changed back, and the sellers now giving another sign that they are in the house. So we know the sellers are in this position, and now we know that they are in this position. So they will try to push it down to make a new lower low. This is the beginning of a new trend, because this is one, this is maybe the retest. You can see this is here, the retest. And now they will try to make it push below for this area. And if so, we're going to see a deeper pullback. But do the indicator give us a sign for that? So far, we can see face down in the short term, face up in the longer term. So indecision yet. Yes, we have divergence for continuation. You can see this is, if this is the high, this is higher high. And what we have here, this is high, and this is lower high. This is what I want to see in the weekly. If we're going to see this sign in the weekly, because the buyer pushed too strong to the upside, and the sellers immediately try to push it back, you can see it here. If we're going to see it try to push too strong, they recreate the same. But I think the buyers know that, so they're letting for the price to push back, and maybe they recommit here in this area again, and it's okay. But so far, be careful, because momentum facing down below the 50. This is a short continuation sign. It doesn't mean that it's going to be a break fall. Short continuation, I'm expecting a move for a key area, maybe even retest again, and can even here. And if it will break below, this is not a good sign. All right, but we have the momentum with us still. So I didn't like the end of the session, how it did, how it finished. But let me check something. Yes, I think we have divergence for the pushing for the upside. Not from there. Let's make it smaller. Yes, we have divergence for the upside. So I still have divergences, so it's still going to be fight. So in order to predict the next move, we are still in the middle of no zone. You can push down or up. We know there are still sellers, so in here probably. And we know the sellers make it up. So if the price action manage to push up above this one, it can, and because this is too close, it can break for the 610 and then spike up. All the stop losses will hit, and you have a move up. In the short term, I see the short continuation, so I want to see how it reacts here. If it can make something like this, stay below the 50, and then moving down. This is one scenario. Let's check it on the 1 hour chart, how it looks. You can see how it bounced from this key area. Immediately the computer bought it, and in the 1 hour chart, again, divergences. You can find a lot of divergences in any time frame, and not all of them work, so you need to see which one is the correct. So you can see there, this is a low, this is a higher low, and this is low, this is lower low. So divergence. So what it means that the sellers push, and still they push it below, but the buyers managed to hold it. So the price didn't act like the indicator. So the buyers are more strong there. So basically above this one you can see the end tail of the session. It could push again. First target need to examine, and from there to push above. Maybe it can try to stop there and continue for the 610. And so far you can see it didn't cross the above. So maybe in the at the beginning of the session, small gap up, cross above the 50. A lot of computers and traders will move in a positive way for the upside. So this is it. Short term, 1 hour, 4 hours, moving up. Daily and 4-hour chart, you can see starting of a short continuation. So this will be a fight. And looking at this map, let's make it smaller. Sorry, guys. See, this is a big red candle. This is a second nice red candle. You don't see it from September. So this is a big red candle to consider. This is what makes me worried for moving for the downside. So if I have to take a decision for the upside or for the downside, I have another decision to stay out in the for investment period. I'm not taking out my position and just not invest yet in more, because I want to see a continuation. So if I want to be a little bit riskier, maybe from above the 602, 603, or even wait for the 610 to see what happens. Because if it breaks, and even if it will do pullback, a lot of buyers will continue to buy. And if it breaks below this one again and close below the 590, if I need to close below like this one and make continuation, it will mean a deeper pullback for the 575 and below that for the 540. And I think it wants to do a deeper pullback in order to bring more buyers, because investment house want to make more profit, and they need the traders and the retail traders to re-enter. So they want to make entry for the beginning of the year, maybe in February, in much discount price, in order for them to make percentage, potential percentage much bigger. Because from the 550 for the 574, it can do a nice percentage, and then it can do sideways all the rest of the year. Let's look at it again on the monthly. You can see I took it the Fibonacci level from 09, guys, and see how it looks. This is a nice move for the upside. Too far away, pull back, move up, too far away, pull back. This is, let's ignore this. Move up, too far away, pull back, and now. Do you think this is too far away? I think so. I think so. This is too far away. It's need to do a pullback. And you can see there is small volume. This is small volume, and it's okay. Every time it moves up, it makes a small volume. But now we need to see if there is a bigger volume, because if there will be a bigger volume, we will examine the candle. You can see it here. Small volume, bigger volume, not that good. So if we're gonna see a bigger volume, we will decide it if it's a green sign or red sign. Usually in the monthly time frame, bigger volume are not that good, because sellers are in the house. You can see it here. Okay, sellers in the house, and later when the buyers come, they are a little bit hesitating. So they push a little bit. Sellers in the house, and then the buyers coming. Small volume. All right. You can see it here. This is, you know, 08. Sellers, 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 sellers. Buyers coming. Small, 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 small. Okay. So, so far positive, guys. I know this was a little bit long, and this is also for me 20 minutes on the S&P. I want to examine it. So let's move for the Qs. You know what? Let's see something else. No. Sorry, I didn't examine my algo. What it's saying. All right, let's move for the daily. The 601 here was the entry for the seller. It's okay. It was a key level. Yeah, 602.30, and now it pushed low, and it's break a key area for the downside, but immediately the buyers came at the end of the session. So in the short term, below this one, can push for the down for the 580, 584, 580 for this area again for the short term. And then we will need to examine, because if it break it, the 584, it could push back into the, let's say, 574. No, guys, let's go for there. Yeah, if it break it here, it can push for the 574, guys. And this is for the weekly time frame. Much longer frame. If it breaks the 574, I think, yeah, 540, yeah, this one. If it wants to break for the upside, let's see something. It still have power for the upside, guys. It still have power for the upside. But probably above the 600, 599. If it push here, 599, 600 for the push for the upside. Let me see something. Yeah, 599, I want to see it. If you want to be sure for the 600, there are not a lot of sellers for the 600, so I think it will break it if it reach there. So wait, guys, just to see how the price action acts. This is the QQQs. Let's go for it. So probably you're gonna see the same move, all right? Touch a key level, immediately bounce. There is a divergence for the move for the upside, but you can see it here. This is what it did. This is facing down again, so it doesn't look that good. If we look at it here, touch the key level, we are still in negative, not like the SPY. The SPY turned to be positive. You can see it here why the buyer is coming. Touch the zero, they want to preserve the price. Facing down, facing up, so we're still facing up. This is divergence, you see below the 50, so just going below this one, it will push for the downside. Next target for the downside, sorry guys, it's the 511, 512. So basically here you can see it, lots of sign here, that the 200. Can it push above? Let me see. No, there is short continuation. So below in the short term, 521, it will push down. And it gave a sign for the push for the downside, guys. I don't like it. Let's see how it looks here in the 1 hour chart. Of course, we have the divergence for the upside. It crossed above. So a lot of sellers up, but what we see above here, if it can manage to push again for the upside. And I don't like it because I see a triple divergence for the short side. So could be very careful with it. Should be very careful with it. Which means there, let's see on the 15. Usually don't show the 15 how it looks. You can see it here. This is the second divergence. This is a high high, this is low high. I know it came, and see how it reacts at the after hours. So just above, below this one, can push down. So have to see how it reacts at the beginning of the session. So this is for the Qs. I don't like it because it gives more sign for the downside, while the SPYs I still have strength, and the Qs a little bit. You know what? Let's move for the SPY for the 15 minutes. This is a very short time. Yeah, the same. But you see, it stays here, it stays straight. So if it crosses below here, let's say 593, can push for the downside. Doesn't look that good. IWM. Let's move it for the 60 again. Let's see how it reacts here. IWM. So remember the 210 I missed, and it moved for the 240. Nice. It was nice. So far, I don't know. You see, this I don't know what to call it. This is a like if it's a computer, this is divergence. This is low low. This is high low. But basically, it sits almost in here. So it's for me, it's not a definitive position for divergence. But you can see the volume coming, and then the bars come in small volume. So interesting. This is a break of trend. You can see 1, 2. This is always moving up. This is a break of trend. So usually it wants to reach for this area and move a little bit more down. Be careful from it. And the 4-hour chart, you can see a lot of divergence from this area, from this one. Yeah, he touched it. Rejection from this line. Yeah, any push, it can push for the upside for the 230, but any push for the upside will bring a lot of sellers, guys. So I'm a little bit negative about this. Let's look at it here, how it looks. This is straight line. I don't know. Yeah, you see, this is a retest and then pushing down. Indecision in the IWM for the push for the upside, because any push for the upside will bring sellers. Any push for the downside, there are not a lot of support below, maybe the 200, but below this one, more sellers will come. So I think we are in the house of selling. So be prepared for it. There is a small divergence for the upside, but it needs to cross and close below the 224.20. And if you want to be precise and less risky, 225. So in the short term, 225, you know, this one, if it's close above, and we can enter back up, but still sellers can come in the short term. So be prepared in the longer term. In the longer term, it needs, 224, it needs to close above it, and then it can continue for the 227, even 228.50, and it will just meet the sellers at the 230. And if it's close above the 230, it can continue its run for the upside and break all-time high, I think. So far, in the SPY, in the Qs, in the IWM, I will wait if I want to take a decision for investments to see how the market reacts in the beginning of the week. And if it's making a close above the key area I mentioned. If so, I'll probably try to take a decision. If not, reverse your decision, guys. Let's move for the stock market. Tesla. Crazy, huh? Crazy Tesla. Alright. Push for it wasn't all-time high, right? Let's move for the monthly to see. Yes, all-time high. Crazy. And immediately tail. You can see the tail indecision. This is a negative indecision. Interesting. We are still in an oversold area, so still a lot of buyers. Interesting. And any push for the downside will just bring buyers, because you can see this is the low. If it's managed to cross here, more buyers will come for this another push, and the sellers know that, so I think they will not sell, and the buyers will just join in and push it up, and they will try to push not that strong to cross above the 488. Stay in it here, making a nice flag. You can see it here. This is one, so it can do something like this and then try to break it. This will be a nice flag for the upside, and even if not, and it will just push it above, and there it Tesla like to do, spike down and immediately take out all the stop losses and push for the upside. This is what Tesla like to do. Let's look at it here. You can see there is no line. It touched a key area. There is a lot of line because I'm a day trader, so this is it. With the SPY, we see much less lines. So it touched it here, probably divergence. Yeah, divergence, you can see. Higher high, lower high, show a sign for a short continuation. So we know that it needs to cross below again, and then it can push for the 350, 360 for just release some pressure. At the moment, there is still divergence for the upside. You can see it here. So it can go sideways. Let's look at it here. You can see it resting on the 200, which is good. Divergence for the upside. If we look at it on the 15, you see it. They stayed here immediately. It didn't push, because if it tried to make a push, it will break and create a short continuation. So the bars are strong and they're smart. So even if it's a red flag for the downside, you can see it. This is the stick, this is the flag. The sellers put it on a lower high, lower high. If it crossed above here, probably push for the upside. Yeah, it seems a little bit positive. If it cross above the 432 and closed above, it can push for the 435, even 435 even. Ends on for the short term 437, and then it will be positive. If it managed to push below the 428, let's say 50, 428.50, probably this one, yeah. Continue for the downside, and this will not be good for Tesla, because I think it could manage to break the 420, the key zone. Let's move for the 1 hour chart. You will see it there. 420 zone, you can see. Buy, buy, buy. If it managed to break, immediately sell, closing position, and it can push back for the 350 for this area, guys. Be careful with it. So I'm probably gonna see it a lot in the stock market, and this is the sign I don't like, because this is the sign that say that sellers make a final entry, they reposition themselves and say we are in the house, but the buyers are still strong. So it's gonna be a fight, I think, of 1 week, maybe even 2 weeks, a fight before we can see any new decision. In the short term, Tesla probably need to open with a gap down for the sellers to relieve some pressure, because if it can continue to move high, it will have to break the 433 in the short term, guys, very short term. But in the short term, for the daily, it will be good if it managed to break it here. It will push again. It need to fight there. And it's still positive, positive, positive. Anything is positive. Now I know momentum is negative, but this is a pullback in time, guys, which is good. So it's okay. If I have to take a decision to enter Tesla, no. Here, if it's the first time, no. It's too far away. I want to see a bigger pullback. So even if it can continue, and I have feeling I missed it, eventually it will do a deeper pullback, and then you can re-enter. So let's see something else. And you know, this is the weekly. Why I don't like the weekly here. This is a big tail sellers at the 550, and I don't like it. Yeah, I think this is it. Apple. Let's continue and see what the markets tell us about Apple. Very positive. No divergence for the downside for resting, so can continue to move for the upside. Very strong, which is good for her. On the daily, it's okay, just a round number. Any pullback will bring more buyers because it will push. Even if it push for here, this is a good area to push from the 240. It will create divergence for continuation. So nothing much here, still positive. No divergence, no divergence, divergence for continuation. Still strong on the trend, moving on the slope, which is good. Coming back from key area, which means buyers looking at it is good. Even if it's a little bit red flag, it didn't finish yet. No divergence from there. It can do a trial and more push a little bit from the 250 and then bounce back. This is from Apple. Nvidia. A little bit interesting, Nvidia. See it why. Alright, this is what I wanted to show you. Most of the market we are in something like in this move. Alright, we want to see how it reacts. Sellers came here, sellers came here. And what happened? Now when I move up, seller will try to make another push. And this is what I think on the weekly we're gonna see it. It will push up and sellers will come, and they will fail because the buyers make a position here, and now we're waiting to see if the buyers making a reposition on the new low. But so far, see what Nvidia did. Sellers came here, we are in the house, alright, and then buyers came, managed to push, sellers did make their final fight, and this is what I think the market needs to do. Push and finished. And then Nvidia and the buyers did 1, 2, 3 and break. Retest and move down. And this is a nice pullback. This is a pullback from in an uptrend. This is good. And now it's here. This is the third. Maybe it will rest there. It can even push for the 120. Resting there and then push for the upside. This is what I wanted to show you, which can happen in the market in the month ahead. So far we have divergence for the downside. You can see it here, which means sellers are still in the house. So below this one, probably push for the down. It's okay. Let's move on for the lower time frame. We are below trend change negative moment. The 50 change its color. We are in a negative trend. There is continuation so far. So far it's been continuation. In order to push for the upside, it needs to change the trend, and it didn't. Momentum is negative. This is change to negative. This is -2 versus 1. Not that good. Let's look at it on the 1 hour chart. It was resting here, so if it closed below the 136, close below, push for the downside, guys. Even try to make a spike, which is good. All right, 1, 2. You know what? Let's just 1, 2, 3. You could try to reach for the 125, even though it's a nice positive one, which means the buyers managed to push above. It's in a middle of no zone. So wait to see how it reacts again for the 533. You see if it's making a nice sign. So far I'm a little bit negative, even though it will try, but you see how the tension got a squeezing. This is a squeezing tension. So in a squeezing tension, you want to see it, and we have a divergence. I will wait for it to finish the divergence, even if it pushes a little bit down, and see if it squeezes a little bit more. If so, it's a good sign for the push for the upside. Nvidia, Meta interesting. Resting, a lot of volume coming in. You see the buyers want to push it back up. It's a nice one. Let's look at it on the weekly. This is the red flag, red candle. But so far, in a positive, you can see a negative for a pullback. It doesn't look that good. I think it should make a pullback. You know what? Let's draw some trend line here. Alright, if it managed to get in to the oversold area, more sellers will come. So far, in a fight zone. In a fight zone, you don't want to join the fight. Divergence for the downside, momentum negative, doesn't look that good for Meta. Trend change doesn't look that good on the 1 hour chart. Big volume here coming in, it's okay for resting, so the buyers give, and the sellers now know there is a lot of volume there. Alright, so they will try to spike it down, I think, and you can see what happened there. This is a good zone for the spike for the downside. Interesting to see for a day trader, because there's gonna be a lot of momentum. Below the moving averages doesn't look that good. If it managed to close below the 590, doesn't look that good. Continuation for the upside, we want to see it back again above the 606 something area here for the push for the upside. BA did a nice move, and I think we call it, this is the weekly, see it on the daily. This is alright. This is it. We saw the move for the upside, and then the call was, if it managed to break this high and break the divergence, it will just continue to squeeze up, and this is what it did. Alright guys, you can see it here, how it looks. I think third here, this is the 310, probably this is 393. Okay, this is moving up, this is moving down. change in the moving. We saw the divergence and it's moved a little bit, and the bars immediately came, and then it created divergence for the upside. This is what I'm looking, and then from there, squeeze for the upside. If you took it above, it's a nice moving up. But now, do we think that it can continue for the upside? This you can see a lot of price action there, so probably gonna see a push for the upside a little bit and then a fight. So far, see where we were. I think it's gonna be a fight there, 183 area, this is in the middle, and then we have to react. There is no divergence because it managed to break it, so we'll probably take some release of tension, because it now can push for the upside a little bit more, so it will move it down. Resting, bring more buyers to move for the upside, and then it will push. What we'll look at it here, positive, positive, positive. It seems that it weakened, so I can see a small pullback in a small time frame for the upside. mRNA, I don't want to talk about it. Let's talk about the gold because gold is interesting, guys. See what happened. New high. I think it was better than the S&P this year until here. It doesn't know what to do. All right, it's pushed it here, created a new lower low, and now it's resting. I don't know what you call that, guys. All right, doesn't look that good for the gold. If it push down, market can push up. We need to follow the Bitcoin. I'm not talking much about the Bitcoin here, but so far it doesn't look that good, even though we are still in a positive. A lot of people think gold will reach the 300 this year, this new year. Could so. So far we have a sideways on the daily. We have trend change on smaller time frame. We don't have divergence. I don't like this double top. All right, and then the break. Momentum is negative. It doesn't look that good. Mean continuation. Let me see here. Yes, still continuation. Silver is more interesting. Yes, it reached a key area. See it here. And this is a nice area to buy from, just for maybe for repositioning. I don't have position yet in the silver. I'm thinking about it. So you see, even if you missed it, it's okay if it's resting a little bit. I know you missed a lot of percentage here, but it's so far for silver, I'm thinking for the 225. If the gold will continue, the silver will push much higher. Percentage wise, but and if the silver will reach low for the 22, or averaging down from the 20, let's say here 27 and 22, be someplace in this area, I think silver will push back again. Let's see here. I think it's already 424. Yeah, any push for the downside will create divergence for continuation. This is my main analysis. It's in a negative. It's okay. Momentum is negative. I think it wants to push for the upside. This is my analysis so far. If I want to enter immediately, no, I'll wait for a better sign. So far the signs for the smaller time frame to move a little bit more down, and then I want to see if the bars recommit. If they are recommitting, it's a good sign for the push for the upside again. Oxy, which represent for me the oil, it's a negative. See what it happened. Remember, I wanted to hit first the 5360. It took me a year, and then what it did, push below, touch my key target there, and now what? Next target is the 4220. It's not that good. It's not that good. And you can see buyers came in, creating divergence for the downside, even though it seems it wants to change. But even if it managed to push even more up, more sellers will come. It doesn't look that good for the oil. It's below, and now you see it here. It doesn't look that good. If we're gonna see it, this is facing up. This is, if it's cross, you know what it's called. When the 50 cross below the 200, it doesn't sound right. All right, doesn't sound right. I don't want to even imagine it. See where it was. All right, this is came here. It managed immediately the buyers came, but when it failed, see what happened. When it failed here, the price moved down, came back for retest here, boom, and then again retest. Now it's resting, so doesn't look that good if the buyers won't push it up, because they need something like this. If not, if we're gonna have another red, we're gonna see something like this, and so far it doesn't look that good for the oil prices. Let's see, we have a sign on the weekly. You can see this is a good sign that the moving down probably gonna finish. It's facing up. This is a divergence for a pullback, which is good. We look at it on the daily. Any push for the upside will bring the sellers, so it's probably gonna be resting here. So let's see a resting period. So yeah, but I'm negative. So far I'm negative about the oil and the oxy. So this is it. I think maybe 3 weeks, month, I will look at it back again for the long side. So far, downside. Bigger volume coming in, trying to pause the down. So guys, let's try to finish, because I know this is a difficult prediction and try to analyze what the markets will do, because we still have some divergence for the upside, but we are getting sign for a break of trend. And this is not that good. And as I mentioned earlier, this is a fight zone. And in a fight zone, you don't want to fight. You want to wait to see who is the winner. Even if it means that you're going to lose a little bit of percentage, maybe 2%, 3%. But if you join the white one, you can have a nice move for another 10 to 20% this year. Each direction. So far this is a fight zone, some sign for a continuation, but I don't see the strength in the continuation, and I get some sign for the market want to move a little bit more down, down control, just to bring more buyers, just to get a better price. It's heavy price, the market, so it needs to take some release of pressure and then to try to move next year. So guys, this is it. Hope it helps. It will give you some ideas what can be an interesting key area. Be careful, of course, any decision you make is on your own. Those were just my ideas. Just sharing it with you. Thank you guys. Bye bye.